Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Ryan from Seaway Sports Lounge, and welcome to another episode of Leafs Timeout. In this episode, we're going to be going over the Leafs versus the Sabres tonight. That's usually a good rivalry, always has been. The Maple Leafs have been on the wrong side of the score sheet, but anyway, tonight was a little different. In this video, we're going to go over, of course, the game. We're going to go over period by period, as I always do. I'm also going to go over the takeaways, and I'm going to weigh in a little more into the Ryan O'Reilly, Noel Acciari trade they made 2 or 3 days ago. Important that I feel that needs to be talked about. I didn't do that in the earlier videos I posted, so this one we're going to do it here. So with that, let's just get right into it. So the Leafs versus Sabres, of course. And in this game, the Maple Leafs decided to make a change. They moved O'Reilly into the second line with John Tavares on the wing and Mitch Marner on his other side. Now, I believe they did this in the Chicago game. They tried it and they felt that they were going to break out. Anyway, tonight they did. Oh boy, did they ever do it. Anyway, we're going to go into that in a sec. But they tried to do this. Of course, they left the Matthews line the same. And they essentially have Matthews, O'Reilly, Achari, and well, Camp and Achari now as your four centers. So really nice depth there and really good. Other than that, Samsonov was the goalie. This is what happened. Leafs won 6-3. Now, this game started off very, very fast for the Maple Leafs. They had a really good first period. They put 4 goals in on Buffalo. Their goaltender got chased out of the net. That's Luckinen. He's one of their newer ones. They've been trying to hope he become their starter. Anyway, Toronto chased them in the first period. They had 4 unanswered goals. Lo and behold, Ryan O'Reilly scored the first 2 within 37 seconds of each other. Pretty impressive. It was really good. Both the same line. It was Tavares and March Marner. Marner had he had the primary assists. They were really pretty goals. O'Reilly made it look easy. And then John Tavares, a little later, he ended up getting a goal with O'Reilly getting an assist and Marner. So this line, as I said earlier, they were hoping for a spark. They got a massive spark tonight. It was pretty impressive, I have to say. And then Michael Bunting ended up at 12:09. He ended up getting a nice goal from a pass from William Nylander and Morgan Riley right down the ice. Matthews was on the line, of course. All the big guns for Toronto, all the people that are necessary to score did that today. Now, in the second period, Toronto, by the way, dominated the first overall. Aside the score sheet, they outshot them 15-3. In the second period, there was a push by Buffalo, which we all expected to happen. They ended up shortening the shots a lot closer to Toronto, but Toronto played more of a defensive style game. They were trying to get that defensive game going, and they ended up getting a power play goal by William Nylander. He ended up getting it from John Tavares and Marner. All 4 guys of the core 4 touched the puck numerous times in that sequence. So with Matthews beginning the start of it all, and then ended up going in the net with Nylander, he was wide open. It was a really nice goal. And then, but like I said, the Maple Leafs had a bit more of a push with Buffalo. Buffalo was trying to get back in. And then the third period was a little different. Unfortunately, Toronto was trying to hold the lead all game. Like I said, they had 5-0 lead, and then Buffalo started to chip away. Now, 3 of these goals came in relatively, like I said here, 5-12, 8-01, and 16-29, but they were all kind of like 2-on-1s and that, and then they ended up getting the goal right by Samsonov a couple times. So, of course, that put a little bit of nervousness in the game. We weren't sure exactly what was going to happen. We've seen this video before, but Toronto withstood that pressure. They ended up closing it out within about 2 or 3 minutes left in the game. And then right at the end, Ryan O'Reilly got his hat trick, and the whole place was littered with hats. It was really cool to see, even though it was in Buffalo. I mean, still, Buffalo sometimes seems like a Toronto home game with so many fans, and tonight was no different. There was no shortage of Leaf fans in Buffalo's arena. Anyway, but he got his empty netter, but he got his hat trick. Really great for O'Reilly. A really nice story tonight for him. And Mitch Marner, of course, got another assist. Now, saying all that, pretty cool stat here. I'll bring it up over at the box score. So as you see here, Marner had 5 assists tonight and was a +4. O'Reilly was a 4 with 3 goals, 1 +3. And John Tavares on the wing had a goal and 3 assists for 4 points. So that line ended up getting 9, 10, 12, 13 points tonight. 13 points for that line. And just an amazing all around. All the big stars of Toronto played really well. Also, the bottom 6 played a great game overall. The fourth line looks amazing with Noel Acciari. Like I said, I'll weigh into that in a minute. But everybody was doing their job for the most part. They'd had that scare in the third, but that scare went away pretty quick. So, especially the empty netter kind of sealed their fate. So that's basically the game. It was a really nice game to watch. It was a lot of action, a lot of thing. Obviously, with Toronto being up that much, it's always nice to see. But overall, I was quite impressed with the game in general. Samsonov, takeaways. Samsonov, I thought was, he could have he played well the bulk of the game, but near the end, I mean, a couple goals I felt, were a little shaky, but I mean, regardless, he still got the game done. He still won the game. So let's keep that in perspective. I'm going to weigh in on this trade. Now, this trade is one of the best trades they've made in a very long time, in my opinion. I mean, I was watching the Leafs for so long, as many people know, and I watched people come and go. And the last time I saw trades like this were like when they acquired Owen Nolan, for instance, from the Sharks, Brian Leach. Even a little later on, they were acquiring like players like even, I mean, not so much Nick Foligno, but I mean, Toronto is trying to win. They're doing what it's doing what it takes. Kyle Dubas is, I believe, in my opinion, has broke the mold of what he believes to an extent of what the team should be. He knows he has to win. Last year of his deal, a lot of players are on the last of their deals as well in Toronto. There's going to be a monster shift in Toronto in the structure of their salary soon. It's going to depend on what they do. But this trade right now, as far as I'm concerned, is pure winner Toronto. What they gave back, a lot of people said, it was an overpayment, or they felt there was more than they should. But if you were to break it down with what I saw, I mean, Godet has been a good player in the AHL this year. He never cracked Toronto's lineup hardly at all or at all. Then you have Abramov. Abramov is a prospect of Toronto, but again, never cracked the lineup. Either never was given the chance, or more so, he just wasn't good enough. And he's had plenty of chances whenever he was at camp, and he obviously didn't get them interested to bringing him up. And he's never really been called up either for injuries. So those two players are not heavy cost players to me. The first round is not going to be a Connor Bedard or a top 10 or even a top 20 for that matter. Yes, it is a first round. They are important to have, but right now the Maple Leafs, in my opinion, are in the win now, as we all know, but really win now, obviously, because of the situation they're in. So that first round, to me, you can move. That's okay. Even in a deep draft like this, I think it's okay to move it. It's worth it for what you're getting and what we saw tonight and lately. This is worth it. The second round, the third round picks they moved. One was from Ottawa, the other one was from ours. Like the next year, the fourth round choice they moved in 2025. I mean, these are players that are 3, 4, 5 years away, and we don't know what they're going to be. A fourth round draft pick could be a gem, could be a dud, right? I mean, we've all seen it. We've seen teams do it. For me, the cost wasn't that much. And you got a pedigree Stanley Cup winner who knows how to win, who knows how to play the game probably. He's 32 years old. Noel Acciari is 31. These two guys have been in Stanley Cup winning teams or Stanley Cup finalists or around players that do this stuff all the time. He was a Conn Smythe winner a few years ago. And like I said, just these guys are impactful. And I think they're going to make a really great impact on this lineup. I do believe Maple Leafs still have a few more things to look at. I don't think it's a complete picture. There's still 10 days left until the deadline. So more than enough time for Dubas to do what he needs. But I give this trade a grade A. Like this is a great trade for Toronto. St. Louis clearly is in a not a I don't know if it's a full rebuild, but they're clearly trying to make a change to their lineup and retooling with draft picks and all this other stuff. So obviously they've decided to call it quits and do a sale, which is great for other teams. And like I said, Toronto also with Dubas and what he did, he managed to get two teams to take on 75% of his salary, and Toronto gave up, draft capital, which they call it. And you know what? I'm okay with it. You know, when it's time to redraft and rebuild the team again in a few years from now, whenever that may be, then okay, we'll do it. But right now, they have to win. We all know this, and it's got to happen. So, and there's no first round stuff. They have to go beyond the first round to me. They have to go well into the second, third, go all the way. Like get it done. Like do what's necessary, and that's what he's doing. And he made this deal, and Dubas did exactly as he always does. He trades early. He doesn't wait. He doesn't wait for the prices to go up, even though sometimes they go down in those closer hours to when the trade deadline ends. But I don't think that's going to happen with a deep, deep draft that's there now. The prices aren't dropping. Guys like Timo Meyer are going to get a huge. San Jose is going to get a big return for him. Players like him, even Patrick Kane, he will get a good return for whoever gets him. And I don't believe Toronto is going to be the team that's going to get him. I don't think he's going to be on Toronto's radar now that they've got these guys. I think Toronto's looking at more on the defensive side to use that 4.5 million they have left to use to shore up. Goaltending, I don't know. I think the goaltending is question mark still in terms of not Samsonov himself. I just think the tandem. I think Murray's not there right now. I don't know what the plan is. I don't know if they're going to get another goalie or not. I think they should get another goalie that can help bridge and give that insurance. And if it costs the fifth round, so be it. Anyway, I think that's what they're going to do. I think I'll leave it from there. But overall, the trade was great. Very happy they got him. They ended up picking up two really good players. Ecstatic to see it happen. Game was great tonight as usual. They looked very poised most of the game. So hats off to Kyle Dubas for his deal, and hats off to the rest of the team for playing a good game. So with that, I want to say thanks very much for watching. I'm going to end the video here. If you like what I'm doing with the videos, please hit like or subscribe. If you want to get more notifications, hit the notification bell on the right. And with that, thanks very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Have a good night.